We're making up for lost time.
Hello, welcome to Yesterday Today, the show that brings you the best of yesterday's radio today. Up here in the booth, I'm Jake Westbrook, and here's my trusty sideline reporter, McLean Westbrook.
Sideline reporter?
Yeah, we're doing our football-themed episode today.
How does that analogy work? One host being the play-by-play commentator, and the other being the sideline reporter?
What do you mean? It's like a team of announcers during a football game?
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't it be better if you were the play-by-play and I was the color commentator?
McLean, it's not that deep. I'm just trying to tie the introduction into football, okay?
What about if you were the quarterback and I was your trusty wide receiver? Or maybe you could be the head coach and I could be your offensive coordinator.
Uh-huh. I'm about to introduce us as a pair of old rivals with bad blood if you keep harping on the introduction.
Hey, I just want to make sure you're kicking off the show properly. That kind of thing is important for audience retention and stuff. They say the first 30 seconds is when you really have to grab the listener's attention before they tune out.
At this point, I think audience retention might be a lost cause. Let's just punt on the intro, okay?
Hey, there you go. Now that is some football terminology.
Yeah, well, glad it's up to your standards. Now, let's kick off the show, shall we?
Hey, what are you two doing here?
Well, our producer, long time no see.
Ah, hey there. We're just recording the show. You know, like we do every weekend about this time.
Oh, I didn't even know you two were back from, wherever it was you guys were.
Yeah, well, if you're referring to our road trip, we got back from that a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, it's odd we're just now bumping into you.
I got a life outside of my work. I can't be married to my job.
You and your job don't even seem to be dating at this point.
Oh, that's a good one. Hey, you two mooses are... Hey, what's this?
Oh, that's my stuffed moose head from Maine. Yeah, I'm still looking for a spot to hang him up in here.
Great. There's 3 mooses around here now.
Yeah, funny. Hey, since you're here anyway, what is the deal with the new tenant upstairs?
What do you mean, what's the deal? I just had to make a little extra money by renting out the second floor. Your fellow's show ain't exactly a golden goose, you know?
Okay, but did you have to rent it out to a private detective?
What's wrong with having a private detective as a neighbor? Frankie Spork is a good guy.
Sure, but our mail gets mixed up all the time. We got a package of his delivered here yesterday.
What's so bad about that?
The package was a bomb from someone trying to kill him?
You look fine to me.
My eyebrows burned off.
I said fine, not perfect.
Well, back to introducing the show today. With fall in the air, folks, we are in the height of football season, and we're saluting America's favorite sport today with...
Whoa, hold it right there. Cut, stop the show.
What?
I completely forbid all football talk on this program. No pigskins, no goalposts, no quarterbacks, no halfbacks, no fullbacks, no nickelbacks.
What's your sudden beef with football?
Yeah, I thought you loved sports.
Love? What do you know about love? I'll tell you about love. I used to love the Chicago Bears. Those monsters at the Midway were my team. Every Sunday I'd be on the couch cheering on the boys. Jim McMahon, Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary. Oh boy, that was my team out there. Decades of loyalty. But every Sunday since '86, without fail, my Chicago Bears would tear my heart out. So following the advice of my cardiologist, I decided to swear off Chicago Bears football forever. No more for me. I'm through.
Wow, that's a big decision. How long's it been since you swore off the Bears?
About a week. Don't get me wrong, I've said I've stopped supporting the Bears before, but this is it. For the real this time. I'm done cold turkey.
Didn't the Bears manage to win their last game, though?
Wait, they did? No, don't say such things. Don't lie to me just to keep this charade going.
No, I'm not lying. They actually...
Get thee behind me, Beelzebub. I ain't that dumb. Just when you start having hope in that old Hallis institution, that's when they get you, the Lombardis of the world. That's a sick joke that the universe plays on me, and I ain't falling for it anymore. so don't even mention it.
Well, I appreciate your tenuous relationship with football, but unfortunately the theme for this week has already been picked out, so football is going to have to be. Starting off the show, folks, we have an episode of Tommy Dorsey's little musical program. Has a football theme to it, so here you go.
It's time to spend Friday evening with Tommy Dorsey. This program is brought to you from Hollywood through the cooperation of the Blue Network and is dedicated to the United States Treasury. Well, friends, today Tommy Dorsey and his gang attended a college football game at the Olympic Stadium here in Los Angeles. And believe you me, they're just full of that old pigskin spirit. So here he is, the captain of our versatile varsity, with a backfield of brass and a forward wall of woodwinds, plunging around right in for a trombone touchdown. That half-baked halfback, our Minuteman of music, Mr. Tommy First Down Dorsey.
Thank you, and hello, everybody, and welcome to Sliphorn Stadium. The first team is lined up ready for the kickoff with Joe Stafford, Dick Hames, Ziggy Elman, and the Pied Pipers to carry the ball. The rest of the boys to run interference, and yours truly calling signals. It's time for the first quarter, so let's start the scrimmage with a downbeat.
You'd better get up and do it now. You'd better get up, my friend, and howl. The land that you love the best is asking you to invest with a personal request from Mr. Morgenthau. Dig down deep to buy the bonds that buy the tanks and bombers for our fighting Yanks. Dig down deep to buy the bonds that keep us free to fly the sky, the land, and sea. Dig down deep. Put your hand in your jeans, Mr. Citizen. Everybody must do his part. It's the easiest means, Mr. Citizen, to show the world we finish what we start. So dig down deep. The boys are giving all for you, so the least that you can do is dig down deep.
You know, folks, when a football team takes the field, only 11 men can play in the game at one time. But over on the sidelines, there's always a whole bench full of guys ready to back up the 11 who are fighting it out between the goalposts. And that's the way it is in a war. For every man at the front, it takes 5 men on the sidelines to back him up and keep him in there fighting. We, all of us at home, represent those men on the sidelines. And it's our job in this war to back up the fellows who are actually out there in the thick of it. Some of us can do this in one way and some in another. Of course, we can't all actually have a hand in building the planes and the ships that our fighting men need to carry the scrap to the Axis, but there's one kind of help we can all give from our spot on the sidelines. We can help to keep those ships and those planes moving in a steady, unfaltering stream to the men at the front by investing regularly in United States war bonds, money that will pay for them. So let's keep right on investing at least 10% of our incomes until the gun goes off at the end of the last quarter and we can chalk up victory with a capital V on Uncle Sam's scoreboard.
The football craze is here again, the autumn leaves are falling. The crowd will cheer and cheer again, and I'll be yearning to be stomping at the stadium with my favorite dream. Stomping at the stadium, rooting for the team. Stomping at the stadium, swinging through the ride. Stomping at the stadium, happy and high. The coach gives out with a lusty cheer and the line begins to bend. The play goes round the end for score after score. Stomping at the stadium till the game is through. Stomping at the stadium, I love you. Stomping at the stadium.
Gosh, my feet are cold.
Stomping at the stadium.
I guess I must be getting old.
Stomping at the stadium. stadium.
Oh, guess it's gonna snow.
Stumping at the stadium.
Come on, Edith, I'm cold. Let's go.
No, Keith, I want to meet the quarterback. I think he's awfully cute.
Well, now say, Edith, wait a minute. You've never seen me in my cowboy suit.
Stumping at the stadium.
Down there in front, I can't see a thing.
Stumping at the stadium.
Come on, Tommy, swing.
That was our chirping cheerleaders, the Pied Pipers. Now we turn to
Hey,
the
boss, wait a minute. You think you're kidding with that cheerleader routine, but I really was a cheerleader in college.
Now, look, Clark, cut out the hokum, yokum. What college did you ever go to?
Castleman's College of Pharmacy in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. Shall I give our college yell for you?
No, 1,000 times no.
Okay, here it is. Spirits of camphor. Chocolate malt, pineapple sundae, Epsom sauce, mix them up in a Mickey, sis boom ba, Castleman's College of Pharmacy, raw, raw, raw.
And you were the cheerleader. Well, tell me, Clark, what made you curtail your career as a concoctor of cure-alls to take up singing?
Well, boss, I'll tell you the truth. I flunked one of the most important courses in the college, and I knew I'd never make a druggist.
Well, what course was that, Clark?
Bacon and tomato sandwiches. Gosh, was I humiliated.
Joe Stafford, I'm trapped. You know, I'm boxed up behind my own goal line with nothing to do but kick.
What's the trouble, Tommy?
Well, here we've been beating up a breeze about football, and now I've discovered that our next number is called A Miner Goes A-Muggin'. Now, how can I ever dope out an announcement that will connect a miner with football?
Why, that's a cinch, TD. Look, I'll show you how. Now, first, where's the most famous football game in the country played?
Why, in the Rose Bowl, I guess.
Right. Now, how much does it cost you for tickets to that game?
Plenty.
Which makes the Rose Bowl an expensive dish, right?
Okay, so far, Josie.
And an expensive dish is also a gal that spends all of your money, right?
No argument there.
And a gal that spends your money is a gold digger, correct?
Yeah, but what's that got to do with a miner?
Why, a gold digger is a miner. Catch on?
Lady, your logic leaves me dizzy. Take it away, guys. I'm still gasping for breath. Here we go. 1, 2. Josie, I hear you went to a party with the captain of the football team. Did you learn about a lot about the game?
Well, I learned a lot, period.
What do you mean, Joe?
Well, for instance, I found out what a forward pass really is.
It sounds like the guy's a bit of a wolf.
Yeah, I guess I should have caught on to him at the game when I heard him barking his signals.
Okay, Judge, suppose you forget about your tussle with the tackle and help us out with the next number. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Stafford, Dick Hames, and the Pied Pipers singing It Started All Over Again, assisted by Miss Joe Stafford.
It started all over again the moment I looked in your eyes. It started all over again, the thrill we can never disguise. The day that we parted so broken-hearted will never return again. Dreams I've delayed, promises made, are starting anew just for you. It started all over again the moment I held you so tight. It started all over again when we kissed away the night till dawn's early light. Now we're together, sweethearts forever. We'll build our romance anew. It started all over again the moment I looked at you. Together, sweethearts forever, we'll build our romance anew. It started all over again the moment I looked at you.
Folks, when payday comes around and you're sort of undecided about buying war bonds, do you hem and haw and hesitate because you think you might need the money for something more important? Well, take it from an old investor. Nothing is more important right now than winning this war. So the next time you're in doubt about buying a war bond, well, get it.
You know, there are lots of activities going on about this season of the year. The one you'll find uppermost in the minds of most high school students, especially toward the end of any week, is football. And the night before the big game, there's generally a rally. Now, you don't want to be late, but before you go, remember, you're planning to bring the gang in afterwards. Put plenty of Coke in that refrigerator. Ice-cold Coca-Cola will be a mighty welcome sight when you return. You know, it's a good idea to keep plenty of Coke on ice all the time. Coca-Cola has a distinctive flavor, all its own. It's a flavor that has made Coca-Cola the most asked-for soft drink in the world.
I feel the autumn breeze. It steals across my pillow as soft as the will-o'-the-wisp, and in its song there there's sadness because there's no you. The lonely autumn trees, how softly they're sighing, for summer is dying. They know that in my heart there's no gladness because there's no you. The park that we walked in, the garden we talked in, how lonesome they seem in the fall. The stormy clouds hover and falling leaves cover our favorite nook in the wall. In spring we'll meet again. We'll kiss and recapture the summertime rapture we knew. And from that day nevermore will I say there's no you. The park that we walked in, the garden we talked in, how lonesome they seem in the fall. The stormy clouds hover and falling leaves cover our favorite nook in the wall. In spring we'll meet again. We'll kiss and recapture the summertime rapture we knew. And from that day nevermore will I say there's no you.
Hi, welcome back to Yesterday Today. We're continuing our tribute to football on the show today.
Do we have to continue the football talk? I already explained the pain and emotional turmoil I experienced at the mention of the sport, thanks to my former favorite team, of whom I shall not dignify by naming them. You're just dragging a rusty saw blade over the crushed beer can that is my heart right now. I can't even return it for a nickel.
Hey, we decided the show themes way in advance. You really should have brought your concerns up then.
How was I supposed to know you were going to choose football as a theme?
Gosh, if only there was a way for the producer of the show to know what was going to be on it.
Exactly. How could I have known?
Howdy, folks. How's Trix?
Lenny the rat, our shady acquaintance. What are you doing here?
Oh, the door was open, so I figured I'd come in. The door was clearly closed, Lenny. What are you talking about? It's open right now. Well, since I'm here anyway, I figured I'd see what my favorite whatever you guys are up to.
Lenny, the last time we saw you, you were selling fake steak in Texas.
Yeah, that business didn't turn out so good. Turns out Texas was not nearly as close to going vegan as my investors had believed. So to make a long story short, I'm back here.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Lenny, but we are not looking to get taken in by any scams today. So, back to the show. We are continuing the theme of football, our country's favorite sport, no matter how much soccer fans dislike that fact.
Come on, fellas. Do you have to keep playing football stuff? Why not an Archibald Andrews or something? Come on, do an Archibald. Everybody loves that lovable scamp.
What's your beef with football? Don't you know that's America's game? Our producer sworn off football after having his heart broken one too many times by his formerly beloved Chicago Bears.
I just don't need that kind of negativity in my life. Now, come on, let's hear some of the tales from Riverdale.
You're a disgruntled football fan, huh?
Yeah, yes. Next up, we have
Well, I don't blame you for not wanting to watch football and all. considering it's scripted and everything.
Uh-huh. Like I was saying, next up wait, what?
The whole thing's scripted. Every tackle, start to finish, whistle to whistle.
What are you talking about?
Oh, don't tell me you don't see it. It's so obvious. The magnetic gloves they use to catch the ball, the remote control they use to guide it through the uprights and field goals. Come on, use your eyes.
Magnetic gloves? Remote-controlled balls?
Sure. Just helps them sell the script. They have writers work out the entire season, and then they practice it every week. Why do you think they have all of the plays written down ahead of time? Whole books full of them.
Lenny, that...
That makes sense. This little schmo might be onto something.
Lenny, you mean to say football is completely rigged? Not rigged. Scripted. The whole thing is just one big story, like professional wrestling. They got some teams that play the hero, some teams that play the heel, some teams win, some teams lose. Listen, pal, what's more likely? That the Chicago Bears, in spite of their best efforts, would randomly find some new way to break your heart every week, or that they're scripted to embarrass themselves every week for the nation's amusement?
This explains the double doink back in 18.
Exactly. Some schmuck in a network master control room was operating that football with a remote. That's the only explanation.
Finally, it all makes sense. It's not the ghost of Mike Ditka torturing me for his own twisted amusement every week. It's the TV bigwigs playing the Bears for yucks.
Lenny, what's your angle here? Well, now that your producer's eyes have been opened, we can make a lot of money.
Money?
All right, here comes the scam page. Okay, how are you supposed to make money off of knowing that football games are scripted, Lenny?
Easy. We just have to follow the storylines. See which teams would make the best heroes and villains. Then we can bet on teams to win and get rich. It's all explained in my extensive self-published guidebook. You wrote a guidebook about betting on rigged football games. Well, I'm currently writing it.
Since when?
About a minute ago.
Can I pre-order that?
And I just started taking pre-orders. It's only a paltry $39.99 plus shipping and handling. Hey, tell you what, I've got some connections. If you throw an extra couple bucks into the pot, I might be able to make a call to the commissioner and have him swing a game or two your way.
You mean I could pay to get my Bears to the playoffs?
Whoa, let's not get crazy. The scripts have to be somewhat believable. But we can probably work something out. I've got Roger on speed dial.
Now there's a bar-full proposal if I ever heard one. You got yourself a deal, kid.
All right, well, while Lenny and the producer expose the script into professional football, that brings us to the second half of our show.
Archibald!
Actually, it's our Miss Brooks with Eve Arden.
Arden. That's close enough to Archie, I guess.
Hey, if they can script football games, we should start scripting this show. I bet it would be a lot better than it is now.
Okay, but you're the one writing it.
Our Miss Brooks teaches English at Madison High, but one of her favorite subjects at school is biology. Or to be completely honest about it, biology teacher Philip Boynton. He's tall, dark, handsome, and painfully timid. But Connie Brooks is still hopeful. In her own words,
I'm still hopeful that he'll look up from his experiments one day and decide that I compare favorably with some of his higher-type frogs. Somehow I feel that if I could just be alone with him a few hours, he wouldn't mind my not being wart green. It looked like last Saturday was going to be the day. I was thinking about my plans when my landlady, Mrs. Margaret Davis, obeyed my instructions to wake me at 8:30.
Wake up, Connie. It's 8:30.
Oh, come in, Mrs. Davis.
Good morning, Connie. How did you sleep?
Pretty well, Mrs. Davis. How about you?
Well, I wasn't going to mention it, but now that you ask, my insomnia's got me a little worried. You see, for the past 3 nights, I've gone to bed at 9:30 and slept right through the night.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I missed the sleeping pill I'm supposed to take at 10. But I guess I'll be all right. Tell me, Connie, why did you leave me a note to wake you? What happened to your alarm clock?
Oh, it met with an accident yesterday morning.
What kind of an accident?
I threw it in the bathtub and stamped on it. Thanks for getting me up, though. I've got to be down at Carney's repair shop at 10. That's when they promised my car would be ready.
Oh, goodness, it's about time. How long has your car been in that repair shop, Connie?
Off and on, about 12 weeks.
How long have you had your car?
Off and on, about 12 weeks. I hope it holds together today. I'm driving Mr. Boynton to the football game with Clay City High.
Madison didn't play them last year, did it?
No, this is the first time. They say Clay City's an awfully nice little town. It's about 60 miles from here, I understand.
55 as the crow flies. You ought to make it in a couple of hours, easy.
Well, I'd better allow 3. My car makes about the same time a crow does on the ground.
Well, hurry and get dressed, Connie. I've got a surprise recipe for your breakfast.
I hope it's not as surprising as the last one, Mrs. Davis. Blubber burgers fried in deep seal fat. I'm afraid I haven't time for breakfast today. I'll just have a glass of milk.
Well, don't you even want to know what the surprise consists of?
Oh, no, thank you.
Well, I'll save it for you till tomorrow. It'll keep fine, although a little penicillin may form on the mold.
Probably do it a world of good. Well, I have to be running along now, Mrs. Davis. I've got to get my car, pick up Mr. Boynton, and then it's off to Clay City. Just think, we'll be alone together for 55 whole miles.
Oh, wonderful, Connie. I hope Madison runs up a big score.
Me too, but I'm more concerned about scoring with Mr. Boynton.
Joe Carney. I'll be with you in a minute, Miss Brooks. I just want to finish this fender here.
That finished it. Is my car ready, Joe?
Your car?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What did you bring it in for last?
One of the headlights needed a new bulb.
Oh, yes. Step into the office here a minute, will you? I'll get the sheet on that car. Have a seat, Miss Brooks.
Thank you.
Should be right here in the desk. Was that a Nash, Miss Brooks? 1935 convertible?
Yes, a late 35. Though it wasn't a convertible until I tried to go through a railroad crossing with the bars down.
Oh, yes, here we are. You say one of the headlights needed a new bulb?
That's what you told me.
Funny, our mechanic found quite a bit of other work to do on the car.
What other work?
Well, your spark plugs were shot, so he replaced them, and the points were practically gone.
Where to?
Your valves needed grinding, and the wheels were way out of line. Of course, that could have been caused by the warped axle. Practically no ball bearing action left in the sprockets at all. And your transmission and differential had to be thoroughly revamped.
How did I get the car down here? On my back?
The steering knuckle was way off, so he had to pack that. But that wasn't too much trouble.
I'm glad.
He was down there ripping off the old brake lining anyway. The new voltage regulator we put in should help that shorten the wiring considerably, and a new oil filter will keep your motor cleaner.
Now, just a minute, Joe. You didn't say a word to me about any of those things when I left the car here.
Well, of course not, Miss Brooks. I had no way of knowing about them until our mechanic checked the car thoroughly. Any more than I could have told you about the clutch lining.
What about the clutch lining?
Let's not speak ill of the dead. It was shredded. And that probably affected the rear end situation.
Rear end?
It was really dragging. Now, do you want me to total up your bill with the new radiator that's coming, or just charge you for the soldering job temporarily?
Like I say, Joe, what do I owe you for the light bulb?
Oh, we'll just throw that in. And please don't feel that we invented any of these difficulties, Miss Brooks. Every item on your bill was strictly legitimate. May I never smear grease on my hands and charge for a lube job if it wasn't.
I've got a good mind to get the Falcon after you. What's the total?
Let me see. $14.50 plus $7.98. 46 for parts. 18 for the transport. $9 for the distributor of the crown. Well, it's $112.49, Miss Brooks. Call it $113 even.
We'll call it $112 even, and I'll have to pay you off by the week, Joe.
Oh, that's perfectly all right. Say $10 a week, 20 weeks.
20 weeks? That would be $200.
Carrying charges, Miss Brooks. Plus lawyer's fees.
Lawyer's fees?
Well, sure, you're a school teacher, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, you couldn't keep paying $10 a week out of your salary. A lawsuit's inevitable.
Well, if I can't make the payments, I'll sell you the car.
Are you kidding? With the repair work this heap needs, I wouldn't give you $100 for it.
Look, I've got to have the car today, Joe. I'm driving Mr. Boynton to Clay City to see our football team play. Now, what would it cost me if you put back the shredded clutch lining and the gone points?
Well, never mind. Never mind that, Miss Brooks. How much cash have you got on you?
Well, I got paid yesterday and just took care of my rent and a few small bills, so I've still got about $19.
We'll take it. I believe in one price. You say $19, I say $19. Hand it over.
Here you are, and Mother will be happy to know you let me keep my locket. Now, on to Mr. Boynton. Well, I finally got to Mr. Boynton's apartment house to take him to the football game. He was standing in front of the door holding a big box with a cellophane top, the kind you put an orchid corsage into. I said, Mr. Boynton, you shouldn't have bought me flowers. His answer was typical of the man. With a modest smile, he hung his head, blushed, and said,
I didn't.
Oh, well then what's in that box?
MacDougal.
He's a wee one, isn't he?
MacDougal's a bullfrog, Miss Brooks. I took him home from the laboratory yesterday. I don't like the sound of his voice. It's kind of raspy.
Maybe he's got a man in his throat. Are you taking him with us to the football game?
Oh, I'm afraid I'll have to. You see, his neck's pretty sore, and I put a compress on it. Wouldn't want him to scratch it off. He should have had his tonsils out long ago.
Maybe his folks couldn't afford it. Well, get in, Mr. Boynton, and put MacDougal in the back.
Oh, I'd rather not, Miss Brooks. Let's keep him up here in front, between us.
Goody. I've always wanted to go to a football game with a bullfrog. Well, are you all set, Mr. Boynton?
All set, Miss Brooks.
Then we're off to Clay City. It's a beautiful day for football, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is.
Do you like football, Mr. Boynton?
Well, frankly, Miss Brooks, I haven't seen many games.
Oh, that's a shame. We teachers should set an example in school spirit for the student body. That's why I'm going today. That's one reason, anyway.
I beg your pardon?
I said I think we should show more interest in school events.
Oh, I agree, Miss Brooks. Who's pitching for us today?
Well, we tried to get Satchel Paige, but he's tied up. Of course, we have some good backfield men pitching passes. That's what you meant, isn't it?
Oh, I guess so. I'm afraid you'll have to explain quite a bit of the rules, Miss Brooks.
Oh, you'll get on to it, Mr. Boynton. Meanwhile, we've got 55 miles to travel together. Just you and I. I was hoping you'd feel that way about it.
That was MacDougal. Now, quiet, Mac. I want you to rest your throat.
Yes, do that, Mac. Now, where was I?
You were saying we've got 55 miles to drive together.
That's right. Just the three of us. A man, a girl, a bullfrog. Well, we'll have fun anyway. I know a wonderful little restaurant en route where we can stop for lunch. It's called the Blue Goose Cafe.
Oh, fine. Look, Miss Brooks, isn't that one of our students pushing that car across the street?
Oh, yes, that's Walter Denton. Maybe we can give him a hand. Hello, Walter.
Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. How do, Mr. Boynton?
Oh, hello, Walter. Something go wrong with your car?
Oh, nothing unusual. It just won't go. I think my clutch lining is gone.
Oh, well, take a little of mine, Walter. I've got a new batch.
Gee, of all times to fizzle out on me. I had my heart set on going to the Clay City football game today.
Well, why don't you come along with us? What do you say, Miss Brooks?
With us? Well, I'm sure Walter would rather get there under his own power. Maybe we ought to try and get his car started.
Oh, it's no use, Miss Brooks. It won't go. I know this car like the back of my hand.
And the back of me hand to you. Well, it isn't that you're not welcome to come with us, Walter. I know. Why don't we tow you in your car?
Tow me?
Well, I don't understand the point of that, Miss Brooks.
You wouldn't.
I haven't got any tow rope anyway, Miss Brooks.
Well, maybe we could push you in your car. You know, bumper to bumper and shove. Then when we got to a nice downgrade, whee! Like our Walter.
Oh, you're kidding me, Miss Brooks.
Yeah.
I'll sit in the back here. You and Mr. Boynton won't even know we're in the car.
All right, Walter, hop in. I wouldn't want you to miss the game. Well, here goes, off to Clay. Did you say we're in the car?
Sure, I've got a date with Harriet Conklin. She's a real football bug.
Bug?
Don't get excited, Mac. It's just an expression.
She'll be waiting in front of her house, Miss Brooks. It's just a mile or two out of your way.
Naturally. But we'd better hurry if we want to have some lunch before the game. Hang on.
Turn right at this corner, Miss Brooks.
You better slow down for it. Oh, look out for that milk wagon.
Boy, that was close.
Oh, are you still in the car, Walter? I mean, I hope I didn't unnerve you.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Brooks. I'm used to driving with woman drivers. My mother's one, you know.
One what, Walter?
It's only natural for drivers to make mistakes. But my mom has made some whoppers.
That I can see.
Look, isn't that Harriet standing under that tree?
Oh, yeah, that's her. Pull over to the curb, Miss Brooks.
Yes, sir. Shall I hold the meter?
Hiya, Harriet. My car's all tattered and torn, so Miss Brooks is taking us to the game.
Well, bless your little pointed head. Hello, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Harriet.
How are you, Harriet?
Mr. Boynton, how nice to have you along.
Get that leer out of your voice, Harriet. Mr. Boynton's been spoken for. In fact, he's been spoken and croaked for.
What in the world was that sound?
Oh, this is MacDougal, Harriet, one of my favorite frogs.
You can introduce them formally when we're rolling again. Hop in. Not you, Mac.
We'll get in back. After you, m'lady.
Thank you, my man.
All set? Well, we're off for Clay City.
Oh, don't start yet, Miss Brooks. Daddy's coming down off the porch. Hi, Daddy.
Hello, everyone. Oh, hello, Mr. Conklin.
Bye, Mr. Conklin. That is, how do you do, sir? How's Madison's favorite principal today?
At ease. I was just reading about the game with Clay City High. Should be quite a contest.
Oh, yes, sir. That's where we're going today.
At least we're starting today.
Denton, must you sit so close to my daughter?
I'm not sitting close to her, Mr. Conklin. She's sitting close to me. I'm over as far as I can get.
I've got to pin him down, Father. Walter's the elusive type. Of course, he's not a real happy heartache, but he's good for a minor throb or two.
Cut it out, Harriet.
Oh, stop those nonsensical noises. Now, there's quite a bit of work I could do this afternoon, filing reports to the Board of Education and so forth.
You have a nice day for it, Mr. Conklin. Well, we'd be getting along now.
But I got to thinking. Conklin, I said to myself, or rather, Mr. Conklin, I said, you haven't seen a football game in a month of Sundays. Let's take in this Clay City game.
Then you mean you're going along with us? That's just super, Daddy, isn't it, Walter?
Yeah, super.
Well, it'll be a pleasure to have you along, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, thank you, Boynton. But what about you, Miss Brooks? It's your car. How do you feel about my coming along?
Just ginger peachy, Mr. Conklin. Well, let's get started if we're going. It's getting kind of late, and we want to stop
I won't be any time at all. I'll go back to the house and ask Mrs. Conklin to speed things up.
Mrs. Conklin?
Yes. She's been out in the yard all morning planting, and she's quite dirty. I'll tell her to hurry with the bath and not fuss much with dressing.
Well, tell her to slip on anything, Mr. Conklin. A loose rug will do.
Well, here we are.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Hello, Miss Brooks, Mr. Boynton.
Hello, Mrs. Conklin.
How are you, ma'am?
Walter's here, too. Hello, Walter.
Hi, Mrs. Conklin. Where do you want to sit?
Well, I think that you two should be separated. So, Martha, if you'll just sit between Walter and Harriet, I'll sit up front between Miss Brooks and Mr. Boynton.
Fine. Now, if we can only get somebody to sit between MacDougal.
I'd better hold him on my lap. There we go, Mac.
Pity he doesn't drive. We could change places. Ready?
We're all set, Miss Brooks. Do you know the road?
Well, not offhand, Mr. Conklin, but I've got some maps in my glove compartment.
Well, I'd better get them out then, Miss Brooks. Should be a very simple matter getting to Clay City. Let's see here. Route 68 into 44, then west. No, it's east, I guess it is, on 106. Well, what are you waiting for, Miss Brooks?
For the directions, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, I'll give you those as we go along. Just start her up.
Well, we're on our way, Harriet.
Oh, isn't it fun, Walter?
Please, children, you're squeezing me.
It should happen to both of us.
mind turning your radio on? I understand there's going to be a new clue on Sing It Again.
All right, Harriet.
Gee, the prizes are up to $26,000.
And here, folks, is your new Sing It Again clue. The phantom voice is no Ziegfeld girl, but a Ziegfeld guy gave her a whirl.
Thank you. The $26,000 will come in handy.
Who do you think the phantom voice is, Miss Brooks?
Well, if I knew the answer to that, Harriet, I'd be able to walk right up to your father and say...
Yes, Miss Brooks?
Hello, Mr. Conklin. We've been going quite a while on Route 68. Shouldn't we have switched over to 44 by now?
Are you questioning my directions, Miss Brooks?
Well, no, Mr. Conklin, but...
I was a major in the last war, you know. And as such, spent considerable time in command of a transport group at Camp Bobrick, Ohio. I'm sure we're on the right road. And the caissons go rolling along.
Oh, you have quite a voice, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, thank you, Boynton. I did a bit of singing round the barracks now and then. Yum tum 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 tum.
Oh, that's very cute, Mr. Conklin. Oh, that was Mac, wasn't it? He must be hungry, Mr. Boynton. I know I am. Shall we stop for some lunch at the Blue Goose?
Well, where's the Blue Goose, Miss Brooks?
Well, I haven't been there since I was a girl, but...
Gosh, Miss Brooks, do you think it's still standing?
Now, just a minute, Walter. How old do you think I am, anyway?
Oh, I'd say you're about...
Of course it's still standing.
There's only one place to go if you want a delicious luncheon. That's the Pink Flamingo.
Where's that, Osgood? You never mentioned it in front of me before.
Well, the last time I went there, I was with a bunch of the boys. Are you sure you can find this Blue Goose, Miss Brooks?
Yes, I think so, Mr. Conklin. Let's see, where are we now?
Well, there's a signboard over there, Route 118. Funny, that isn't on this map at all. You'd better bear left at this fork, Miss Brooks.
Very well, Mr. Conklin, but I don't think we're on the right road. This hill ahead of us is pretty steep. I hope the motor doesn't heat up too much. This radiator's just been patched temporarily.
Well, up we go. Over hill, over down, and the caissons go.
What was that?
The caisson stopped rolling. At least this one did.
I'll get out and look at the motor.
Keep your seat, Mr. Boynton. As head of a transport battalion, I had considerable to do with motors during my tour of duty. Well, let's see. Well, nothing wrong with the tappets. Radiator's still in one piece. Hand me a hammer, somebody.
There are some tools under this seat, I think.
Oh, here, let's get out. Here we are. Here's a hammer, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, thank you. Now we'll just tap this water pipe here.
Oh, be careful, Mr. Conklin.
Please, Miss Brooks. I know motors backwards. One more good tap should do it.
That did it, all right. Well, let's get out and push, folks. We're off to the nearest garage.
Well, there you are, folks. There you are. Good as new. Nothing would have happened in the first place if some knucklehead hadn't hit the pipes with a hammer.
What? Why, how dare... Why, who do you think... Why have you no...
Who's this huffing and puffing?
Oh, please. This is Mr. Knucklehead. I mean, Mr. Conklin. He's my principal. Oh, now calm down, Mr. Conklin. Remember, everything's all right now. We're off to Clay City.
Where do you figure we are now, Miss Brooks?
Well, I think
according to my calculations, we've been traveling due east on Route 94 for 1 hour and 10 minutes at an approximate mean speed of 40 miles per hour.
Any tailwind, Mr. Conklin?
Oh, look, we're coming into a town.
Of course we're coming to a town. It's just as I figured. This is it. Miss Brooks, ask that pedestrian where the stadium is.
What pedestrian?
Hey, look where you're driving!
Oh, that pedestrian. Pardon me, could you tell us where the Clay City Stadium is?
Well, I can't be positive, but my guess would be Clay City.
Isn't this Clay City?
No, this is Boonville. If you'd be kind enough to give me a lift home, though, I could show you where Clay City is. I live just a few miles from there in Flagton.
Well, there really isn't much room. We've got 3 in front and 3 in back now.
Well, it's not much of a ride from here. Perhaps I could sit on this gentleman's lap.
What? Sit on my lap?
Oh, better take him, dear. We've only got a short time if we want to see the kickoff.
Oh, very well. Come on.
I hope I'm not too heavy. Sorry, I'll change my position.
Start the car, Miss Brooks.
All right, Mr. Conklin. And this time we're really off to Clay City.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the lift.
You're welcome. Now, how do we get to Clay City from here?
Oh, that's 29 miles back down the road. We passed through it on the way.
What? Why, you...
Yes, so long.
29 miles back? Why, that... We could have been... He said that it was only...
Daddy, remember your blood pressure.
His ears get awful red, don't they?
Now, see here, everybody. We've got to organize this expedition. There's been no unity of command, that's the trouble. Everybody's talking at once. Oh. Shut that toad up, Boynton.
He's not a toad, Mr. Conklin. McDougal's a frog.
A giant bullfrog with tonsils.
Quiet, Miss Brooks. Now turn this car around and go that way, and don't stop going that way until I tell you to.
Off to Clay City.
Well, this is Clay City, all right. There's the Clay City National Bank, Clay City Lumberyard. Now, for heaven's sake, Miss Brooks, before you get lost again, ask somebody where the stadium is.
All right, Mr. Conklin. Oh, there's a bus parked over there. I'll ask the driver. Excuse me, but could you tell me where the Clay City Stadium is?
Sure, it's 4 blocks left and 3 right.
Oh, thanks a lot. That's the first definite answer I've had all day.
Well, I ought to know where the stadium is. I got the Clay City team in this bus. We just beat Madison High 89-0.
89-0? May I ask you one more question?
Sure, what is it?
Did they put up a good fight? Well, the trip back from Clay City was uneventful. I dropped Walter and the Conklins at their house instead of on their heads. And though I missed the football game, the rest of my plans worked out pretty well. Mr. Boynton asked me to dinner, and without Mr. Conklin in the car, we had no trouble finding the Blue Goose Cafe. Dinner was delightful. The orchestra was playing softly, and Mr. Boynton turned to me and said,
That's my favorite tune, Miss Brooks. Would you care to dance?
Sorry, Mr. Boynton, but I promised this one to Mac.
If that's the game you're missing because of a mean cold, here's something you should know.
Every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold.
Millions more take bromo quinine.
Every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold.
Bromo quinine.
Howdy, folks. This has been Yesterday Today. We're wrapping the program up right now as
our producer is kind of losing it, honestly.
Yeah, nice way of putting it.
Come on, Sidney, take a seat and turn on a game. It's just starting.
You bet. Pop.
Do not, under any circumstances, ever call me Pop.
You got it, Pop. I'm just excited that we're doing some father and son-in-law bonding by watching the game together. I've never really been into football before, you know, but...
Oh, we ain't watching the game together.
Oh, we're not?
No, not in the traditional sense. I'm exposing your young eyes to the rigging of professional football and possibly all professional sports. Heck, probably all sports.
All sports? Really?
You bet. Your local Pee Wee football team? Just as scripted as a Broadway play. Hand me the remote.
Wow, golly gee willikers, I had no idea.
Hey, when did you guys drag that couch and the old TV in here?
Quiet down, the game's on. Now, Sid, watch this play here and you'll see what I mean. They deliberately script the games to make them as interesting as possible, and all the gullible fans eat it up.
Didn't the quarterback just throw an incomplete pass there, though?
They must have had him throw it over the receiver's head on purpose. There's no way a professional quarterback could miss a throw. It's so obvious when you realize what's going on.
Yeah, I just don't understand sports at all.
Oh, don't worry, kid. Once you stop buying into the lies, you don't have to spend so much time obsessing over a fake sport. Here, I wrote out my predictions for every outcome of every game left this season. This'll just prove how rigged this whole thing actually is.
Wow, no fooling.
Well, it's nice to see him in a good mood again, at least.
If you want more Yesterday Today, you can visit KISU.org or wherever you get your rigged, scripted, phony podcasts.
Oh, finally. Game day is fun again, Sydney. Now, instead of rooting for the Bears to win, I root for the scriptwriters to make the Bears win. Let's go, fellas. Type up a good one.
Let us sing about one without a doubt, sweetest girl in the land. Football is her middle name, hardly misses any game. Wears the colors of all the schools we love, gee, but she's in demand. Has a corner on Bose, almost everyone knows she's got a halfback at Pennsylvania. She's got a quarterback at Yale as well. She corresponds with an end at center and a center at Cornell. She wears the pin of a guard at Harvard. A Stanford tackle has her in a whirl. She's got a sweetheart at every college. She's just an all-American girl. Maine, Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois, and Alabama, North Dakota, South Dakota, Duke, and Georgia Tech. Vanderbilt and Tennessee and good old Washington and Lee and Michigan and Minnesota. Soon I'll be a wreck. Lovers, you can see she has them far and near. Come on, let's go collegiate, give the gal a cheer.
Rock, 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 rock. Yay!
She knows a halfback at California. She loves a quarterback at Notre Dame. She threw a tackle at Alabama, and a Dartmouth guards her flame. She goes to proms with an Army fullback. A Navy center has her in a whirl. She's got a sweetheart at every college. She's just an all-American girl.